This is your friendly host here, just reminding you that we're all high schoolers. We have pretty bad, screwed up senses of humor, so if you're offended pretty easily, I'd take the back door. And yeah, this one's on aliens, so strap in, bucko.
Are aliens real?
Gotta,
Yes or no?
I'm gonna give you a yes on that.
Okay.
Just odds of actually interacting with them is gonna be very low, just because of how big space is.
I mean, would you say, how far would you probably go? Would you say like galaxy, um, planets? Like how far do you
Within the
think?
I mean, I'd say it's within the galaxy. Within the galaxy, I'd say it's possible. Just because we're talking
Hmm.
many, many thousands of solar systems. Uh, Especially if we're here, odds are the microbes that which we originated from would have originated within the galaxy, just because it's close enough by. If
Hmm.
not, at least in the local star cluster. And if aliens are further out from the local star cluster, it's not even really worthwhile because we can't even get further than that. Alpha Centauri, that's what I think 4 light years away.
Hmm.
So it's not, interstellar travel. It just isn't practical, at least with our current technology. But I'm not going to say that they don't exist. It's just that if we do interact with them, it's going to be a very long time from now, and it will probably be in a way that we can't even really imagine. Whether that's just like they have a written record and we find that written record, or it's if we do somehow come into contact, with a physical species, the way our culture will interact at that point might be, like right now we still have plenty of individual nations and stuff, but by the time we're at that stage, we might have like a united human race, and that would work in ways we don't even understand at this point.
Hmm.
But
I mean, I
I
think like,
diverted a lot, but yeah, the answer is yes.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna say for sake of argument, no, because when you look at like the Great Filter and all the things that you have to, especially just for um, having contact. Like there are so many hurdles that a life form
Hmm.
that's already pretty rare has to go through
Hmm.
to become intelligent life, and then to actually get to the point where we are now, and then go past that to become an intergalactic
Hmm.
species. So I'm gonna say no for the sake of argument, just because I think
Hmm.
there's too many hurdles in that you can't really prove where the great filter is, where it's if it's behind us. I think personally, I think it's behind us. But then again, if the great filter's behind us,
Hmm.
how did we get through it?
Hmm.
And like where down the
But
ladder?
But just by the fact that we exist in the first place, though, means that the odds are that it is possible.
Mm,
So, with that possibility over the course of quadrillions of stars in the entire universe, there's probably at least something, even if it is just like a piece of bacteria somewhere.
mm. And then to think like, how would you get out of the galaxy? Because they do say there are more galaxies. Number one, how do you
Hmm.
leave a galaxy? And number two, what's outside the galaxy besides more galaxies? Like, is there a space between, or is it like borders? Is it like countries where it's on the borders
Uh,
of each?
they they don't border each other. There's a
Mm-hmm.
ton of space. Basically, so we have the Milky Way, and there's the Andromeda Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of our local supercluster, and it's basically those two galaxies and a few like other little bits of solar systems and whatnot, just kind of thrown in there. Uh, and over the course of, I think it's something like another 5 billion years or something like that. The two not the two galaxies are going to combine. So
Hmm.
theoretically, we could visit another galaxy without having to leave it because it'll just meet us in the middle.
Yeah.
But just because the universe is constantly expanding for at least as long as we know for right now, and because of the expansion rate, it's physically impossible to visit anything that's outside of our local supercluster because it's moving away at literally the speed of light. So nothing
Yeah.
we could do is fast enough to catch up with that wall.
True.
But so if we are going to find life, it's going to have to basically either be in the Milky Way or the Andromeda Galaxy. We could theoretically leave the galaxy with well, not with our current technology, but there are some ways we could do it. NASA is, I mean, I know it sounds insane, but they are trying to develop a warp drive where even it's not like time travel or teleportation or whatnot, but basically they'd be I'm not entirely sure their process of doing it. I'd imagine it's sort of like a particle accelerator where you're creating really dense space.
Mhm.
And I would imagine they're doing is they're creating very small but extremely strong gravity wells, sort of like little black holes that bend the space around them that basically shortens the distance you have to travel. So you're able to travel really far in a very short amount of time.
Mhm.
And if we're able to develop that technology, then yeah, getting around the galaxy isn't going to be too big of an issue.
Well, it's just, the big question I think is when are we going to get that tech? Like, it's definitely not going to happen in our
Definitely
lifetime, I'd think.
no. I mean, if you compare the rate of technological progression in our current time, we are using bronze swords for millennia, and we only
Mhm.
used iron swords for a couple centuries by the time we invented, modern guns. So I would say, probably in the next few centuries, we're going to have a breakthrough enough that we could have something like that happen. At least, I'd say at least within the next 1,000 years.
Yeah.
May I interject about that?
Oh, just showing up all of a sudden.
Yeah, we're
Whoa.
we're on aliens, so we're just doing
Oh,
backup
okay. So,
topics.
aliens. Okay. All right.
Going on History
Well,
Channel.
yeah. So,
History Chanel.
I'm hearing your mention about the warp drives and stuff. So
Mhm.
basically, that's more of a theoretical equation per se. It's not officially
Equation.
like.
I
It's
know. I know.
more of like. So basically, how they calculated was they took the mass of the specific drive and the space around it combined with the area that they're traveling in. The equation hasn't been yet solved because what they needed was dark energy, which, that doesn't exist per se. They needed a
Yeah,
negative
which is
energy
Mm,
to power it.
dark
That
matter
was the only thing
basically is a
missing.
substitute for what we don't understand so far. So yeah.
Yeah.
so it's kind of like
So
the
basically,
like
that
the
was the
magic and
missing
science debate.
factor.
It's not even really
Yeah.
that. It's just there's a a change of mass that we're able to record throughout space and some energy that we aren't able to describe where it's coming from.
Hmm.
So basic
Right.
dark matter, dark mass, or whatever you want to call it, is basically a stand-in for what we still don't understand about the universe. Eventually,
Yeah,
we
and
should
that's
hopefully do that.
yeah. With our civilization and society, I think the problem with that is we're not focusing on space exploration because of how like minute we are because like
Mhm.
we haven't yet traveled outside like physically outside as like humans inside spaceships outside of
Mhm.
our own solar system. The only two man-made like crafts that ever did that were
The
what were
Voyager
they?
probes, the
Yeah,
Voyagers.
Voyager probes. They're those guys were the only ones that actually made it past the interstellar medium. With
Well,
that,
those were made in like the
um,
'90s.
No, they're from the
with that,
70s.
oh, they
Uh,
passed Voyager. I think Voyager 2 passed it in 2018. Voyager 1 passed in like the mid 2000s or
Yeah, but
something.
they were
mhm.
traveling for like 40, 45 years.
I mean, would we
Yeah, they didn't
theoretically
travel
would
that
we
long.
send more Voyagers? Kind of.
Unfortunately, no. The fastest man-made craft that we could have that could potentially reach them is the Parker Space probe that's flying around the sun right now. I
Hmm.
think it'll clock in at like 500,000 miles per hour, and that would only get them like what, at least 10 years to reach their position.
Hmm.
But with with that comes the topic of, aliens and stuff. I do believe that there is a chance of extraterrestrial life, but intelligent life has been basically debated about between multiple researchers and scientists all around the community. I can bring up a few, but the ones in particular basically explain that while normal life is feasibly possible to exist, intelligent civilization is basically near like if if you want to throw a percentage, like near at least like 1 to 2% of the existing universe could potentially harbor that civilization. Earth was just fucking lucky, dude. Like we had every single like, matter for us and stuff. We had everything perfectly aligned, coincidentally.
Mhm.
But
So the
um,
issue with that assumption though is that if there is other life that we're assuming that it's like our life where it's carbon based, but you could have silicon based life, or you could have it, there are plenty of other elements where they would be
Yeah.
viable for creating life. It's just we don't know how to make that happen.
There has to be a specific reaction that triggers
Mm,
that. Like
yeah.
they could be there, but they're just waiting for it to react and stuff, and that's what happened to us. That's
Mm,
what theorized the very first ever existence of life on our planet.
mhm,
But the theory is that we basically came from comets, and
mhm,
the thing with that is where did the comets come from? So
mhm,
if it was outside of our solar system, was it in our solar system? But
See,
mhm,
the funny thing is like I look at like because as I said before, I'm a Christian person, so like what kind of stuns me about a lot of people is that they believe in like the Big Bang or whatever, and it's like okay, so the universe just created itself. Yeah, okay. Doesn't that break the laws of physics? Well, what do you mean? Well, isn't the laws of physics matter cannot be created or like stuff cannot be created or destroyed?
Well,
It just has to change.
the
So how
the
does
thing
that
about
work?
the thing about the Big Bang though is that originally when people were talking about that, they're like, "Hey, that's the start." But basically what's been theorized and what does make sense is that the universe is constantly expanding and collapsing in on itself.
Mm-hmm.
And every time it collapses, basically all data and energy that we would have recorded of a previous existence of the universe gets erased. So from it's basically what I was saying about how we can't view anything outside of the local supercluster. It's so far away we physically can't view it. So the Big Bang is kind of a brick wall that's blocking us from seeing what could have potentially existed before. And for
yes, but
if you're bringing religion into it, then you would be saying that God existed, for infinity. You could also say the universe. It didn't have to necessarily be created by somebody. It's just it existed, and we aren't able to comprehend that.
Mm-hmm.
well, that confirms it. God isn't real, guys. Pack up your bags. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of depressing to know that because the universe expanded so goddamn fast,
Mhm.
especially from the Big Bang. There is an equation for that calculates just how fast the universe
Mhm.
expanded.
We're talking
And
like trillions of miles in
yeah,
like a
trillions,
thousandth of a second.
sextillions to be exact.
Oh,
And
exact are we? Are we on Google right
yeah, we're
now?
gonna be exact. We're gonna say the largest the sum of all of that is pretty fucking huge. I can't really read it out right now, but if you wanted to put it into perspective, we're legit only like I think we could only see at least 7% of what the actual universe really looks like. So it's pretty astonishing to say the least.
Man,
And knowing that, yeah.
that's the biggest Zelda map I've ever
However,
seen.
No, I'm not sure about that one. I don't know if that checks out.
with aliens, yeah, the topic still remains. Could they potentially exist? But I don't think we'll ever meet one in our
Yeah.
lifetime. I mean, you've seen the news. There's a lot of talk about UFOs and shit crashing into Earth and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't
If we
they
all I'm
just
saying is
release the like
Yeah,
footage?
the Navy has been doing
Yeah.
that for years, but yeah, they released some new ones. If we do find aliens in our lifetime, odds are it's going to be a fossil in Mars or something like that.
Hmm.
Like, it wasn't NASA themselves that released it, but some
Venus, not
scientists that
Mars.
analyzed the rover that NASA landed, I think the late 90s, I forget what it's called, but basically they've analyzed some footage from it and they found what seems to be fungus that's been growing on some rocks there. They still don't have like solid evidence of it aside from like a little bit of a time lapse.
Mm-hmm.
But if they research into that more, that could be the first sign of life off of Earth, even if it isn't intelligent life or anything like that.
What we have to
The thing
ask
with that
yourself is,
is,
did it
I think it's
evolve or
already
did
been
it
confirmed that
devolve?
that was from
What are you
Earth.
talking about, man?
Me or Hung?
Talking to you.
Did
You sound like
you
you're
have
talking
to?
about Pokemon evolution there or something.
No, you have to think of is the fungus going to evolve or did it devolve from something? Like they had actual aliens and then the aliens had to devolve to like survive on the planet or whatever.
I mean, you don't know. All
Hmm.
that matters though is that that's what we have right now. If there were elder aliens, then that would mean we'd be able to dig up their fossils at some point.
Mm.
I think that the fungus on Mars, the Curiosity rover, it was the rover you're talking about. I took a picture of that. I think they said that it was kind of like, I think it was kind of fake, like it wasn't actual fungus per se. But I did mention Venus. There's existence. So basically, they believe that there's bacteria living on Venus, not of Earth origin, because they
Yeah,
detected I think there's I forgot what chemical they detected in the
They've only sent
atmosphere.
like one probe to Venus, and that sucker
Well,
blew up
yeah.
like
Yeah.
3 minutes after landing.
But I mean, like the surface of Venus is like the little underwater volcano vents at the bottom of trenches in the ocean, so it's definitely not impossible.
Mhm.
The thing with that is, you imagine Europa is a possible candidate that's on the list that could potentially harbor life. But with that in mind, I mean, we don't want fucking space aids, do we? Boys, prepare your fucking suits. We're gonna get space aids. But,
Nice.
I mean, would you count
Yeah.
viruses as life?
Yeah, it's a living organism.
yes.
So that technically every day
I
we
mean,
just kill
the problem with
living
that is
organisms.
that's why, yeah, that was why NASA was concerned that that when the astronauts travel to the moon, they bring back fucking like space herpes or something like that.
I mean, you
Like,
never
space
know.
viruses.
You never know.
They literally
Yeah.
thought that the moon would harbor like viruses and stuff. When the
No,
second
like,
they brought it
well,
back, it would like
Didn't the
bring the
moon
end
wasn't
of
wasn't the
human.
moon part of the Earth? That's the theory of it, where it was like a big
Yeah,
chunk of the
Yeah.
Earth and
it was a
then
part of
broke
an
off.
actual
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah. So like think about it.
But-
If you had a disease on one of those chunks or something that was able to survive somehow in the vacuum of space, don't ask me how, wouldn't you think that it would get on the astronauts and then the astronauts would bring it back? So that could be
Yeah.
potentially like extinction level event.
Well, the thing is, on the International Space Station, it's been up there for 20 years, and there have been 3 new species of bacteria that have evolved from previously known species.
Mhm.
So the evolution of bacteria in space is insanely fast. So let's say there's bacteria that somehow survived on a part of one of the lunar landers that's still on the moon. Well, you could theoretically have a human race-ending disease that's currently on the moon right now that's still surviving somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing with that is I mean, they do have decontamination processes for that, due to that NASA paranoia back when the space race was still a
No,
thing.
I'm talking about like on the outside of like the lander
Oh, just
legs
on the
that are still
outside
on
of the.
yeah like the parts of the legs that are still on the planet. They could still have stuff on them.
Sputnik
Yeah.
didn't care. It's just, if we bring something
That's
back,
the
we
thing,
don't
though.
care. We're researching using against the
Nikolai.
Americans. We'll use it against the Americans.
Fucking the Russians are screaming that they brought back space herpes to Earth. The fucking Russians are screaming at each other and shit. That's the thing, though. They call those extremophiles, I think. So like that specific organisms that can survive in the vacuum of space and
Yeah.
endure the sun's deadly laser the
The
entire
sun
time.
is a deadly laser.
But
Yeah.
It's such a good
it's
freaking video.
pretty terrifying. I can't say if it's actually interesting, but it's actually terrifying.
Dude,
Because
space is scary.
that implies that there could be life that survived exactly like ours, and they are extremophiles. And yeah, space is really interesting, but in the grand scheme of things, we are just little apes on a blue rock.
Maybe a little more evolved, but yeah, I get the point on that.
Return to
a little bit
monkey.
more evolved.
Shut up.
We're only 1%. Our DNA is only 1% different from bonobos, so we're not
Mhm.
too much different.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess the only logical step to go from are aliens real, or if they are real, well, how are they going to kill us all?
They're gonna create anime girlfriends, lure out
No,
all the incels,
no.
and
Oh,
train an
God.
army to come
Oh
kill the
my
rest of us.
God.
No, that's
You are gonna be the first to fall. I
Sure.
swear to
I wouldn't call that
God, you
invasion.
will
I'd
be
just
the
call
first
that
one to
thinning
fall.
out the weak.
But
I mean, I'm a good anime
with that
fan.
topic,
But geez, oh Pete,
If
there are
you have
just
played
some
Halo,
people.
if you have played Halo and you've seen the Covenant, if you had played any alien space game that involves Earth magically getting fucked up, you know exactly that's possibly what's going to happen to us. The best case scenario and a realistic case scenario, they don't know, they die because War of the Worlds type stuff, they die because they haven't adapted to our bacteria yet. So,
Um,
I
I'm
mean,
trying-
it's basically the same process as trying to invade the fucking United States. It's basically
it
just
ain't
exactly
gonna
like
happen,
that.
Chief.
We got
Yeah.
nukes.
You may get frickin' California. That's all the ground you'll ever
Humans got
step on.
nuked. Earth has bacteria and diseases that literally wiped out native populations before centuries ago, and it could possibly do the same to aliens because they're not adapted to us.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
then
that's the other thing.
again,
Is
if
that
you're a
if-
spacefaring species, wouldn't you have to know that? So, like, if you're gonna colonize, because I think most people say, like, if they're gonna colonize, they're gonna come for our water because water is supposed to be very hard to create. So, like, to kind of
To be exact, they could just mine comets. They could just go to ice
Yeah,
planets
water-
like Europa and
Yeah,
just mine
but
the fuck
here's the
out of
water
thing.
it.
isn't too bad.
How big is the Earth? How much water does the Earth have? What would you rather do? Mine a few comets to get maybe a little water. I mean, you'll get some, yeah, but how much more would you
I
get
mean,
if you just invade
how
a
much-
planet?
How much water do you need, though?
That's the real question. How much water would
Especially
you
because
need?
most of our
Pretty
water is
certain
salt
that
water.
Earth
It's
isn't really
useless.
that special to aliens.
I mean, you
'cause
can take the salt
one-
out of the salt water.
right.
Yeah.
So
The thing with that is Earth. I think it's already been confirmed by many people, especially people who covered like movies like The Signs and shit. Basically said that like Earth isn't even special at all. The only thing special about it is that it magically harbored life, and so
and even then, if
Um,
aliens exist, isn't that really that special?
is it really necessary that a empire like them would want to try to colonize us? I mean, they do know that we have the single most devastating weapon in the world, anime. But
I don't know what's happening. I don't know what reality I just peered into. I don't understand anything anymore.
I think atomic bombs
Nukes.
would honestly be the only thing
Yes.
that we'd be able to use to defend ourselves. Because think about it. If they're a spacefaring species, they have like warp drives and whatever not. They're gonna have worse than laser guns. Like you look at Star Wars and you're like, oh yeah, Star Wars. That's what life will be like. It's like no. Star Wars is nice, guy. Laser guns that kill you instantly will be nice.
Dude, if we're
Yes.
talking Star Wars weapons are pretty ineffective compared to conventional weapons.
I mean,
Mhm.
That's all I'm
why
saying.
would you use a sword? I'm sorry, but if you like, it's like the Star Wars thing,
Well,
like
not just that,
Kylo
like,
Ren.
dude, their blaster bolts go like 70 miles. Their blaster
Yeah.
bolts go like 70 miles an hour when
Yeah.
ours go thousands. So
Yeah,
That's why Jedi can easily dodge stuff. I mean,
Like,
can they
why-
dodge a fucking bullet?
why is everyone
going at
so
least 4
obs-
times that speed?
why is everyone so obsessed with laser swords? It's like you have laser guns that just instantly hit targets, like, and it doesn't have to obey the laws of physics. Like, come on, guys.
just what you gotta do. You get a bunch of lightsabers, make a big like cylinder, put yourself in the middle of that cylinder, and nobody can touch you.
Shoot yourself out of a
Mm.
cannon with like surrounded by lightsabers. This'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, would aliens still at least try to abide by the laws of physics? I mean, that if they do have warp drives, why aren't they here yet? That's another thing. Why haven't we detected them yet?
Yeah.
And second,
I mean,
I think
yeah,
in a realistic scenario, if we're just using us as an analogy,
did
we
you say
still need to
analogy?
abide.
Wait, no, wait. Hung, you go back and say that word right, young man.
What?
You said
Analogy?
analogy. It's an
Oh,
analogy.
Analogy.
I'm so sorry for that.
Dude, I'm the stupid one. Like,
Analogy.
literally, I can't talk,
Analogy,
and
okay,
I'm
all
telling
right.
you this wrong.
I was about to say fucking English, Okay, so with that, what was I about to say? Yes. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, the alien species still at least have to abide by the rules of the universe. I mean, technically, the universe doesn't abide by its own rules because it expanded faster than the speed of light, which makes sense because it fucking exploded. But
Big a boom.
the universe is the
So
only
high
thing that can
school
actually
science is
travel
just a bunch
faster
of
than the speed of
bullshit?
light in a realistic scenario because of how fast it expanded. It's not the rate at it's going; it's just more of how fast it just expanded from its singular point.
Mm.
That's why, um, that's why I said that universe is the only thing capable of traveling faster than the speed of light. Anything else basically is below that. And if aliens do manage to master that, I mean, with trial and error, I still expect them to be still stuck in their solar system, similar to ours. And that's at least why we don't see them any. At least that's at least why we don't see alien civilizations like popping everywhere and stuff.
Well, you could also say that, well, life has existed on Earth for half the existence of the universe,
And we have a new
and
guest.
right now we're about half of the universe's time now. But for all we know, because of how close to the beginning we were, we could easily be the most advanced civilization in the universe right now, and we'll be the spacefaring race before any other thing gets to the point where it could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And with that, there is, I think there is something going around between NASA. Basically, they said that there's a possibility that like all the civilizations before us died out, we're the last ones left, or
It's not
we're
that
the
surprising.
luckiest ones to appear first.
Well,
That's
it, it,
basically
it,
how it goes.
it just goes back
And
to the great filter, and it's like, where's the filter? Is it
yeah,
before us? So if it's before us, are we going to all die eventually? Or if it's behind us,
Mhm.
well, how the heck did we get past it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So with our new guest, to bring some context, we were just talking about
Aliens.
we're basically just talking about are aliens real? Like what could they do to us? And just other stuff.
Pretty real, but I don't know what they could do to us.
They could screw us up, that's all
Alright,
I
so
know.
the topic we're discussing. Have you played Halo?
Dude, they'll come.
before?
They're
Hey
gonna
man,
take
I
our.
would hop into their whip and go right to their planet. That'd be kind of fun.
Listen, if you ever watch
spaceship?
Disney Channel, they're gonna take our moms and send them to Mars.
Oh my
damn.
gosh, I'm
Bro,
not
who's gonna
the only
feed
one who
me?
saw that
Who's
movie.
gonna feed
What was that
me?
even called?
Mars needs moms.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
remember
plot.
that.
The plot is the title of the movie.
Dude, I literally, like, I remember that, like, it has been bugging me for years, because I'm like, I remember the damn movie, I just don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, so Alpha, have you played Halo before? I suppose
Course.
you have. Yes, okay,
Mhm.
so you know the Covenant stuff and how they fucking
Yeah,
glass
everything.
planets. But that's technically, like I said in this podcast, that is a possibility that what could happen to us, that there could be an alien religious hegemony going around and shit, blasting planets. What? But
What I want to know, okay, so we've already kind of went over how aliens exist and all the science and stuff, so let's get into the fun parts. Alien invasion. Who would be, how would you react? What would you do? How would you survive? How would you not survive? Go. Alpha,
Bow
you're up.
down. Join them.
Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them. You know,
Yeah.
that was an option.
mean-
I'd definitely join them. How would I survive? Shit. We got a lot of places that are in the middle of nowhere, so I could probably go to those. I do plan on, as an adult, like making my own underground bunker because I am paranoid. And
I'm right with you there.
yeah, those are some of the ways that I would survive. And there is ways that you can make a self-sustainable environment inside of an underground bunker. It's
this man is
scientifically
gonna
possible.
fucking turn Fallout into
Yeah, because, like, as long as you have enough food. I mean, as long as you have
But
enough food, you'll be
could
fine.
self-sustain it. You could self-sustainably produce food, and yeah. There's ways to do it.
If we're going by Fallout logic, we got 56 years to prepare. It's all good.
We have
Wait, I thought that
Yeah.
happened in like
um,
1990s, or am I wrong?
No, it's 2077.
Fallout is-
Okay,
when the war happens.
2077. Okay.
yeah.
See, I'm
No,
not a
that's-
huge
that's when
Fallout
the,
fan.
That's when the nuclear exchange happened, I believe. Is
Yeah.
that during the resource wars, or is that during the?
I don't know. I thought the war itself, the actual nukes were dropped in 2077.
I'm
they
just
were dropped and stuff.
I'm just gonna grab myself a paper so I can write all this stuff down.
Alright.
This man's just
For
filling out
what?
papers
For
right
what purpose? So you can prepare yourself.
I don't know. Maybe I'll want to play Fallout sometime. I just never have had Fallout. Never really
Okay.
been interested.
now. Yeah.
Wow.
So, have we done this topic before, like self-defense? Have we ever done that topic before yet, Grant?
No.
Are we about to go into gun laws?
Yes.
We're
going
saving.
to talk
We
about.
should save the gun laws.
Yeah, let's
Should we
save that
Should we
for
save that for the
political.
politics episode?
Yeah.
Make SBRs legal. Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
we can record that if you really want me to. I just have to end this one.
We can
I
always
can't stay
say-
for too much longer.
Okay.
So can we wait for that?
Yeah.
I'm down to come
All
back
right,
tomorrow.
self-defense.
No.
Should an intruder attempt to break into your house, what will you do to protect?
Ask him how their
What
day's
happens if
going.
he's
Give him a
inside
cup
your
of tea.
house and you
Sit
don't have
down.
a weapon on you?
You just-
What will you do?
I don't have a weapon.
Like I just,
No, Jack. They break into your house.
dude, my
and you
plan
just-
doesn't involve a weapon.
You
Yeah.
just.
I'm just there with a plate of cheese. I'm like, hey man, you want some of this?
No, they
And then
break
I
into
join
your
him, I
house.
sit down
and
with
you just,
him, and while he's eating the cheese, I call 911.
Or you could poison.
Yes.
You have like one of the
Poison
bank kind of like
pieces.
panic buttons under your desk that you just like push and it just
Uh-huh.
cops come from the ceiling just on your knees. The guy
Yeah, I
walks
need one of
in,
those,
he just
yeah.
sees you in the corner with a plate of cheese and some tea just sitting there. I've been expecting you.
Dude, I feel like a Nerf gun, if you put a thumbtack on the end of a Nerf dart, I feel like that would be a good weapon.
I don't know,
Oh, yeah,
because
but
here's
it
the
has to
thing.
be like an
Stamp.
automatic one.
It depends on where you hit him. Like, if you hit him in the eye, yeah, that's going to really hurt. But, like, if you hit him in the skin, it's just
Dude,
like
shoot-
getting stabbed with a small fork, I could
Shoot
say.
it. I know,
It's
but
gonna-
like if you have an automatic one, that's what, like 12 of those things? That's gonna at least stun him.
Yeah, but, like,
What if you got like a drum
Yeah.
mag?
or here's the thing. Will I have enough force to actually...
Their back.
Will I have enough force to actually puncture the skin, or is it just going to bounce off?
Let's test it out, man. I'll come over to your house. I'll test it out on you.
I'd
Well, you
rather
can always
not.
upgrade your Nerf gun, put a more powerful spring in it, and then it'll have the force to puncture the skin.
That is true.
Yeah.
Right.
I've done it with one of my Nerf guns.
No.
I put a really hard spring in it, and that shit hurts really bad.
Yeah, bro.
Alright.
So if a friend ever comes over, I'm like, "Yo, want to play with Nerf guns?" It's like, let's have a war. I always pick that one out because it has a powerful spring in it.
Isn't
I
that
don't wanna- You
illegal?
can't tell me what to do. Anything's
So-
illegal if you set your mind to it.
You know what I'm gonna do
Here's the
for
thing.
to
Nothing's...
protect my family?
Everything's
I think I told
legal when
Grant
the
this
cops
before.
are in here.
I'm gonna stick a fucking claymore to my Roomba and let it chase the dude around with it, while playing to the tune of this.
Oh, you need to send me that audio so I can put that in the podcast.
I'm gonna
It's
I'm gonna
yakety
get
sax.
Yeah, but I don't have
called
the
yakety
audio
sax.
strap
for
a motor
that.
engine to
Like,
the
That's on
Roomba.
you. I don't know.
Just have it chase the dude around, going
Okay.
3 times the average speed of the regular Roomba.
Oh yeah. Modify its engine or give it like really good batteries or like fucking
Yeah.
juice it up on
Add a-
Tesla batteries.
A gas engine to a
Yeah, dude.
Roomba.
He hears that music
Yeah,
and
bro,
he
put
just
a
looks
V8
down
in
the
that
hallway.
bitch. Oh my
Let's-
god.
He looks down the hallway, and the only thing he sees before he dies is face toward enemy.
Just a Claymore Roomba. just
No,
fucking
Claymore
drag.
drone. Do you like the Modern Warfare like
Oh.
Warzone thing? Just get a drone and put a Claymore on it. I mean, you'll blow up your house.
Yes,
but-
and have a riot shield. Have 2 riot shields and LMG, and don't leave the corner.
That's a kid.
Oh, I right you. I
Wow.
right you.
Yeah, that'd be the most terrifying moment for that dude.
Yeah.
Just seeing the lights go out and then just seeing the one light turn on, the Roomba just comes out of the darkest point of your house.
And it
And
just
it
starts.
starts spinning towards him. Oh
Dude,
god.
so bad.
I'm more of a fan of the chainsaw Roomba, but you know, you got what you got. I mean, if you're gonna make it
Well, here's the
threatening,
thing.
at least make it really scary. Like if they don't know what a claymore is, like if they've never played video games, they're like, okay, what is that box? Pfft. Where the chainsaw, they're gonna be like, okay, that's a chainsaw. I better start running.
Yeah, well, once they start running, use it as a distraction, and then you peek out of your room with the gun, and then you kill him while he's not looking.
Just
Easy,
shoot it with
easy.
a 50 BMG.
Oh yeah, because that's really necessary. Yeah, let's shoot him with a gun that's worth $5. That's $5 a bullet. I don't even think his life is worth that.
Dude, wouldn't it be scary? Just imagine you whip out the 2mm Calibri and just try to shoot the dude with it. You're trying to shoot the dude with a 2mm Calibri.
Did it? I forget who it was, but I think like it was a gun maker, and it's like, okay, the Calibri would not help. It's literally just getting hit by like airsoft pellets because the bullets are so small. Like it stings like if you get an attack thrown at
It's
you.
like not even piercing the dude's skull. It's just pissing him off.
It's just mildly angering your opponent. Why did
Or
put
you
that
can
in
take out an
Battlefield 1?
AA-12.
AA-12 and just stick just put nerf bullets in the drum.
The
I don't
guy's
think
gonna
the
be
chamber-
so
No.
confused.
The AT-4 is the best home defense weapon.
The AT-4. My man's gonna whip out a fucking shoulder mount manpad rocket launcher. Just
No,
you know the Joker gun.
Hug,
Every
you
time
get the
shoot,
javelin.
another,
You
like,
get
a
the
white
javelin.
flag or some shit.
Hug,
Do that
you get the
do that with
javelin.
the AT-4.
No, Hug. Why use unguided munitions? Use guided munitions. Get the freaking javelin.
So bad.
Just riders come down to break your house and just pull out a javelin in the front yard. Alrighty, let's lock this sucker in.
Oh yes, that's your secondary because you have the LMG. Yeah, and your riot shields. And your
Yeah,
army
bro.
of Claymore Roombas, because that's a thing that should be in COD. Wouldn't be cancerous at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro.
here's the thing.
You're
Infinity
holding
Ward
down
made
fucking
freaking
supermarket
Modern Warfare
with
with the
Claymore
tiny
Roombas.
TDK. Infinity Ward made Modern Warfare with a tiny TDK. And honestly, I think anything's possible at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I wonder what the next COD's gonna be like. Cold
Uh,
War was good and all, but like, it was
See,
okay.
I don't know.
Alpha, sorry
I've
to
liked
break-
Cold War more than Modern
sorry to
Warfare.
break your heart. The next COD game is gonna be
World War
based in
II.
World War II.
Yeah, it's a I think they said it's a
The rumors
sequel
were false.
to World War II.
They're gonna fuck this one up. Apparently, from what I'm hearing about, it's based on a fictional conflict taking place in either World War II or the Korean War.
Oh, so like
And it's gonna tie into the Modern Warfare timeline.
I feel like they're
so
due for
it's like a
futuristic
what if
game.
scenario.
So basically, they're everything. What Activision is doing is that they're basically tying everything into the Modern Warfare timeline.
Mm.
So, which is a very shitty move, mind you, because Black Ops 2
I want
has
another
no say in it
futuristic
anymore.
COD.
Yeah, I want a futuristic COD as well.
Infinite Warfare
Honestly-
was fun as fuck. I loved it.
Oh my
If
god!
they
I
can
fucking
do
love
a futuristic COD,
Is that?
like,
Can you get that on
right?
PC? Wait, can you get Infinite on PC?
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm buying that.
The only
dude.
futuristic game shooter that I really have liked is Titanfall 2, just because I freaking love the mechanics.
Yeah.
Do you play Apex?
Timefall 2. Bro.
Me and Apex are at a
I honestly
disagreement.
prefer Halo.
Bro,
I
Apex is fun
honestly-
as hell.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm just honestly tired of playing it. I just don't like playing it anymore. It's just not fun for me anymore. I'd rather play Titanfall 2.
How long
Yeah.
have you been playing it? Like, how many hours you got?
I don't know. All I'm saying is Apex was
Like, for
fun.
Modern Warfare.
but
He's
I-
talking about console. For PC,
Yeah.
you can like record how many hours you had for each game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like about 300 on Apex.
Mm.
For Apex, bruh.
hmm
I used to play it a lot,
Right.
but I'd rather just play Titanfall 2 because Titanfall 2 just does everything, in my opinion, much better.
They
Yeah,
created arenas
I
in
agree with
Apex,
that.
though. It's like a 3v3.
But then again, here's the thing. I like the movement aspect of Titanfall 2. I mean, they have a little bit of that, but not a lot. Because
Also, they have
it's still
Octane, stim yourself, go crazy.
yeah. That's why.
Go
That's why,
stupid.
dude. Why do you think I main Octane when I play Apex?
Because he's just so much fun.
Dude,
Yeah.
Octane is base, not gonna lie.
For
You
real.
shut
I
you.
understand everything
Yeah.
we talked about, even though I don't.
We're talking about Apex.
We're video
Gamer.
I know.
games.
I've never played any of these games.
Oh,
Jack,
that's
we
fine. You
gotta
played
get
Halo
you to
before.
play games.
Nope. War Thunder's where
Oh, you
it's
haven't
at.
played Halo?
See, I would play War Thunder if the servers were actually like relatively busy on Xbox, but they're not.
Oh god, don't play War
Dude, you
Thunder,
gotta play
dude. It is
You don't play
horrible.
console. You gotta play PC.
I don't have
That's
a
yours.
PC. I'm not.
Try your best to
Alright,
get one.
council, what shall we decide on this, man?
Oh,
PC
no.
council, what shall we decide on this?
PC.
Alright, Grant.
I will end the recording. You can't prove anything. I can end the recording right here, and
Alright,
they'll
Grant,
never know the
you're going
verdict.
I don't know if I'm changing over. In the moonlight, I can't kill this feeling sober. So I start to come alive.